One of the early cases, the first case we had in the lab, we had an individual on the dark net who basically comes on and says, I want to abuse my 11-year-old sister, but I'm not quite sure how to start. What should I do? The offender's like, well, pictures, right? Send pics, put up pics. So he starts going into her room and photographing her while she's asleep. Meanwhile, the offenders are giving him advice like basically attack her while she's sleeping. If your parents have medication that you can use to knock her out, and then you can do whatever you want, tie her up while she's asleep, all kinds of horrific things. And it got posted, we started working on it. And one of the images that he posted, because people want to see her face, they want to see her body instead of just these close-up grainy images in a dark room. And one of the images he posted was from a vehicle, and they just happened to be driving by a highway sign. And when they drove by, they caught the highway sign in the background, but it was very blurry. In the lab, I started working on that highway sign to see if we could figure out where it is. I was able to figure out that this highway sign was in the state of Kansas because Kansas uses a sunflower. The only character that we could make out on there as far as the numbers was a 2. We knew that there was at least one more number, possibly 2 more numbers, but we couldn't, they were too blurry. And we also had above the sign another sign that basically said east. So we know it was an east-west running highway, started with a 2 in the state of Kansas. So we deployed to Kansas and we created teams with the Kansas Bureau of Investigation. And we drove every highway in the state of Kansas that began with a 2 and ran east and west over a period of 2 days. On the second morning, mid-morning, I just happened to be with an agent from Kansas City. We were driving Highway 20, which was in a rural part of the state. We got to the very end of the highway where it teed into another, and there was the road sign. And we knew it was the road sign because there was a round hay bale at the base of a utility pole. There was a row of trees that were running parallel to the roadway. It all matched up with what we had, even though it was a different time of year. We were able to then take some other outdoor images that had been taken at a public pool, go to local law enforcement, where's this pool? Next county over, go contact law enforcement in that county, who then recognized the family, actually had done a search warrant at the home for narcotics. Not too long before that, we were able to match interior photos to the search warrant photos to say, yeah, there's no doubt it's the same house. Go in and identify and rescue that child from what was really abuse that was getting more and more concerning by the day. As he was getting bolder, and he was even saying, I've got some rope. He even tried to go to the pharmacy and get the medication, but he said, there's only one pharmacy. I'm too young to get anything. They told me no, and there's nowhere else to go. And that turned out to be true because of the rural nature of the community he was in. But we were able to, from the first post to us going in and stopping this, 13 days.